Okay, welcome everybody to the first AI and music meetup. My name is Logan. Thanks for being here. First, I want to shout out some people for making this event possible. Actual Foods, giving us the delicious bites in there. Give Actual Foods a round of applause. They're a catering company that operates out of the Inglewood Lounge. Everybody that lives on this side of town knows what the Inglewood Lounge is. If you don't know what the Inglewood Lounge is, go check it out sometime. It's really, really cool. So definitely want to show them some love for giving us the delicious bites. And then to Cali Sober, which is providing the yummy beverages that everybody's having. Enjoy those. And you are at a place called Home. Home stands for Helping Our Music Evolve. So that was really my thinking as all this AI stuff started really cranking. I was like, well, our brand is literally helping our music evolve. So I gotta make sure that we're doing what we can to help music evolve in the right way, in a way that empowers music creators. And so this particular event has kind of been on my heart to just start bringing everybody together, having the conversation. How do we turn this into a tool for artist empowerment, creator empowerment, and not something that we need to be scared of? So because it's coming, it's here, it's coming fast, it's growing fast, it's learning fast. So we're gonna bring everybody together that's serious about kind of keeping up with it and building cool stuff using AI, and just start to create this sort of center of gravity here for all the people in town that want to kind of build the connectivity between or within the industry around this topic. So thanks for being here. And really quickly, I'm going to also give an opportunity to TC to come up on stage real quick. TC is the ambassadorship chair from Solid. They're one of our promotional partners, just a really great organization all around. I'm an alumni of Solid, stands for Society of Leaders in Development. And so just want to let him talk a little bit more about that.
Thanks, man. Thanks. They're letting me speak here before those Cali Sober drinks hit. So raise your hand if you're starting to feel it yet. Got a couple. Thank you guys so much for letting me be here for just a quick second. Raise your hand if you are not a songwriter, artist, or producer, but like in the business, but not one of those three things. Okay, I got some hands out there. Now keep them raised if you've never been in Solid before. Okay, awesome. So what the Society of Leaders in Development basically is in a nutshell is an organization of music business professionals that have been in the music industry for at least a year full time. It's an organization that provides opportunities for business professionals to grow in their leadership abilities and to experience opportunities for networking, for mentorship, either as a mentor or as a mentee. We have the committee that I'm running chair for is a committee that is focused on mentorship for college students and also recruitment for the following year. So just wanted to take a quick minute to let you guys know, if you are not a songwriter, an artist, or a producer, but you are in the music industry as a publisher, an A&R, a booking agent, a manager, pretty much anything that's not artists, songwriters, and producers, you have the opportunity to apply to become a part of Solid. We have an event on August 26th, starting at 6:30 p.m. at New Heights Brewing. It's our open house, and that event is specifically so that you can come meet current members of Solid and meet members of the board, ask questions, figure out how you can apply and potentially get involved in our 2026 year. So that's all I've got for you. Thanks again so much for letting me be here, and Solid is looking forward to doing more partnership with you guys in the future. So thanks. That's it.
All right. Solid really is a super cool organization, so I encourage y'all to check it out. So the way it's going to go down tonight is we've got 3 presentations for you. We're going to start with First Rule. Joel Kaiser here, who's one of the partners on this event. He's gonna kick us off by talking about the platform that they're building. Then me and Juan from the home team over here are going to talk about the Music Creator Roadmap AI product that we're building. And then we have an incredible multimedia creator futurist over here, Catrice, also known as Ultraviolet. And she's going to talk about how she uses AI to do visual art. So yeah, let's get it started. You ready, Joel? All right, come on up.
Right on. Well, I debated whether or not just to dive straight in and kind of chat it up, but I'm going to read off a script and kind of keep it organized. So let's take a moment and just listen. Just quiet ourselves and listen for a second. The low murmur of the room, the faint hum of the air, a possibility of a beat behind the breath of strangers next to you or your own heart. This is music's origin, a moment of shared presence. We're here tonight not because we're building something artificial. We're here because we believe something real needs to remain central throughout the evolutionary journey of music. And that's the first rule of music, before tools, before formats, before fame, is that music is human. Not just a human-made product, but a deeply human act of meaning-making since the dawn of time, or so I've been told. So what happens when we introduce AI into that ritual? Do we gain new technologies or lose authorship? Do we automate inspiration or unlock it? And these are the questions we need to ask together. That's why we're here. And that's why this space, this forum, that's why this AI and music meetup exists. First Rule was born from a need, not just to build technology, but to build an ecosystem of trust around it. A place where artists don't just get access to AI tools, but ownership of their data, their legacy, their essence. We're designing a future where songwriters, vocalists, instrumentalists, and producers can co-create with AI without losing the soul of their work. Where your musical essence isn't extracted, it's protected. And Home, this incredible space for artist development, is the perfect partner in this effort. Together, we're shaping a citywide pulse, one beat at a time, right here in Nashville, where tradition meets transformation. So yeah, it's a meetup, but it's also, and it can be, and I hope it will be, a movement. One where we slow down just enough to ask not what can AI do, but what should it do, and who does it serve? So every month, this room's going to become a kind of signal, a broadcasting of different kind of music tech culture, one rooted in ethics, collaboration, equity, and curiosity. If we do this right, Nashville won't just be a scene, it'll be a source code of a more human-centered musical future. So thanks for showing up, and not just to spectate, but to co-author with us. I think it's really important that we do get the heartbeat of what Nashville is about when it comes to this stuff. And transparently, First Rule is a very early stage. We've raised $25,000 in a pre-seed round that is literally being restructured as we speak, because we see a much bigger opportunity than just what we're calling musical essence models or me models. It's your essence approximated as any kind of music creator, a producer, an instrumentalist, a singer, and we see it as more fully encompassing to where the real nitty gritty that I've come up against with a lot of artists is, what about the groundwater suck from AI data centers? And it's like, who said it out here? But what about the burger you're going to get after this also? Yeah. But no, seriously, like when it comes to this, like down to the infrastructure, we want to be humans first. And we're in talks with Keith at Vanderbilt, who's a professor there and a regenerative architect, about how do we partner with and or build regenerative AI data centers. So that's kind of a comprehensive look at what we're doing. I'm not going to go through our whole slide deck. And in the upcoming events, monthly First Friday events here, I do want to share what our partners are building. Musical AI out in LA is who we've partnered with for attributions of our Me models, as well as training on their base model for our generative creative process through the part of our ecosystem that First Rule does have a proprietary build on, which is Co-Writer, and it's a smart VST plugin where you talk to it out loud, ask it what you want, and you're gonna basically, upon your request, if it's direct, like Rick Rubin, if he opts in and you want him to produce it and his Me model is available, it'll aggregate in Co-Writer, and then you can start iteratively producing the track with him talking out loud to you, giving you some esoteric advice like it's too orange or something. But really, on a practical note, this is for instrumentalists being able to agentically license and trace usage of their approximated talent. So if that doesn't resonate or doesn't ring a bell, or you'd like to learn more about it, I'd love to sit down with you and continue that process as we move forward and share another partner of ours, Voice Swap, for singers, especially, like how their technology works, how we're integrating their technologies into our ecosystem. So yeah, thank you for coming out. And really, we're gonna, after a few more of these presentations, we're gonna give the mic to the audience and talk about concerns, as well as strategies that you might also have, and just kind of get a forum going around how we do this right. I'm Joel, and this is First Rule.
All right. Very cool. Oh, go through your deck here. Okay. So, next we're going to talk about the music creator roadmap. Let me get a little bit more slack over here. I got it. Cool. All right. So, actually, before we start that, I do have a presentation here. All right. So we're going to talk about something called the Music Creator Roadmap. We're building an AI tool to help music creators figure out their path through this crazy industry, okay? Who knows, it's a pretty wacky industry, pretty hard to figure out exactly, which way to go, who to trust. How do you actually build a business in this industry? And from what I could tell when I first got to town was like, nobody actually knows. It's a war of attrition. Somebody told me when I got to town, they said, you want to know how to make it in the music industry? Don't leave. He's like, just stay. Just stay. Just meet people and stay. Anyway, I thought that was pretty good advice, actually. All right, so what is the actual problem here? So in my opinion, as somebody who runs a music incubator, work with a lot of creative people, a lot of creators, the problem is that the creators of music are expected to be like really badass entrepreneurs, like superhuman level entrepreneurs, world class, Silicon Valley billionaire type entrepreneurs, but you're expected to get paid like nothing, basically, right? Work 24/7. You got to be the songwriter. You got to produce your own music. You got to learn to mix and master, right? You got to be a content creator. You got to be an influencer, right? You got to be a performer. You know, you got to get your stage performance right. You got to be a marketer, a digital marketer, just badass marketer. You got to know how to network and also understand the entrepreneurship game. You got to know how to build a brand, build a business. It's a lot of stuff for anybody to learn, right? Each one of those things that I named can take you an entire lifetime to master, right? And so, to me, that's the reason why, you know, that's the biggest problem, is that it's somehow we got fed this lie called the DIY musician. And one of the things I always say is there's no such thing as a DIY musician, and that music is a team sport. And that if you think that you're going to DIY against teams of really badass people all working towards a similar goal, then, you know, probably not going to be able to. Although AI is leveling the playing field, actually, a little bit, if you know what you're doing. So that's the real problem that we're trying to tackle here, is that, you know, people just creators spread themselves too thin. And so without having a focus, without having a true business model, they have no priorities. If you don't have priorities, it's extremely challenging to build a business in any industry. So the solution is to create this sort of like personalized path through the music industry. So we're working, you know, using some AI, but we're building all this off of a framework that I actually created during the pandemic, before AI. It just had some downtime, you know, time to think. And if you think about stuff long enough and hard enough, you know, then sometimes you come up with something pretty interesting. And so I was really, really giving this some thought in 2020. The facility was shut down, you know, didn't really have a lot to do, thought the business was going to fail. So, you know, I was like, go inward. Why did you start doing this in the first place? You want to help these creative people out, right? Help them find a path. What does a path through this industry actually look like? So this is what I came up with. This thing on the left here. This is called the Music Creator Roadmap. Okay? So from my point of view, there are actually 3 unique business models that are viable for music creators to start a business as a music creator. And by focusing on one out of the 3, then you get those priorities, right? Like you can actually start to understand your business model and what's going on here. So I'm going to blow this up just a little bit so we can take a little bit closer look.
Is this available on the website or anything?
Yeah, you can actually find this if you go to homie.news. That's my my newsletter that this is actually the first post that's highlighted, that's posted on it. So homie.news. Homie stands for helping our music industry evolve. So, and we also call our members homies. So there's lots of fun branding, double entendres and whatnot. But anyway, so this is literally the original framework. Didn't build this in Canva, built it in some sort of weird Draw.io or something like that, some Google tool that's like way outdated. Yeah, so somebody knows about it. So the idea was, how do you build a flowchart out of this craziness? And what I realized is if you can really force people to think in terms of trade-offs, like if you really had to choose between, you know, like releasing an amazing hit song, but you didn't write it, or if you had to choose between that, or you wrote a hit song but you didn't release it, or you're touring, you're playing on stage every night, you're making good money, big crowds, but it's not your music that you're playing, what would you choose? And so these sort of thought experiments that you go through to try to help people actually choose what path that they should really be on. And so by separating it out into these three paths, touring performer, creative artist, and writer producer, you can then start to show them the different skills, the resources that they have to have. There's some mindset stuff baked in here. There's the industry folks, the gatekeepers, right? And then understanding what do they actually want to see? Well, they want to see data, right? It's all built on data now. Nobody uses their ears anymore. It's all data. How do you release music, right? Because that's such a big piece of the puzzle, is understanding how to release music. And then how do you actually make the money? Because that is actually the function of a business. So understanding these things, I've been using this since 2020 and helping creators think about their path through this crazy industry, and have helped, probably a few hundred people or something like that think through this, and it's helped a lot, but it's overwhelming still. Even when you boil it down, it's super overwhelming, right, and messy. And one more thing here that I'll mention, understanding your biggest priority again. So is your biggest priority to really be a killer performer, or is your biggest priority to really learn marketing and branding stuff and build an online audience? Or is your biggest priority to get in the room with the very best people that you can get in the room with every single day, right? And that's an interesting thought experiment too, that really helps you understand as a music creator and stop spreading yourself so thin, but to actually start to make progress. And then I separated it out into what are the stages of development that a person goes through? The planning stage, the production stage, and then the scaling stage. So this is all theoretical until you meet a product manager. So come on up, Juan. Let's talk about it. So while he's talking about the product, I want you guys to go to use the QR if you can, please. Pull out your phone, go to start.homeformusic.app. We're going to do something fun.
Thank you. Hey, everyone. My name is Juan Garcia. I'm from Colombia. I moved to Nashville over 2 years ago, and I've been a DJ for about 11 years. Of course, playing music from somebody else, but still in the music industry for a long time. But my real background it's been in tech. I've been managing products for about 10 years. And when I first joined Home, I saw that roadmap that Logan showed, and I was like, this is interesting. I read it all. I was like, yeah, it makes sense to me. But I was like, from a product and project management perspective, I was like, how can we make this simple? Because we are all bombarded by information all the time, YouTube, Instagram, how to make reels viral, how to make your music, how to produce better. Like, you're bombarded by information. And then you get introduced to that roadmap. It's like, holy, it's a lot to take on. So we got into the product kind of mindset and saying, okay, let's productize this, let's create something simple that will help artists kind of navigate this industry and this roadmap. And this is what we came up with. If maybe a volunteer that would like to come up here and go through the exercise with us.
Anybody? Yeah, come on up, Blake. He's a plant. Cool. So, yeah, let's go through this together and actually see if it's valuable.
All right, let's do it.
So, if y'all would want to go through it with us, that way we can all just kind of talk it out. Would love to hear your feedback on this. We're always trying to improve. That's part of our ethos here, is that we're always evolving and improving. So it starts with this statement that focus changes everything. The secret to breakthrough success is laser focus on what matters most. Be like a postage stamp. Stick to one thing until you get there. Like that. That was Juan found that quote. So let's start it. discover your path. So let's go ahead and answer that, Blake. Yeah, say what you're choosing. Let's give you a microphone.
These are hard to choose from.
Yeah, again, that's the whole point.
Definitely, I'm going to go with making great songs and collaborating with other talented creators.
Okay, cool.
Because I really got into this being a writer, so.
Okay. Now, what's your ideal work day as a music professional?
These are some pretty good options. I would love to do all these.
That's our number one response. I want to do it all.
I want to do it all.
Yeah.
I would probably say releasing a new song that you're really proud of.
Exactly. What do you want to do first?
I like that. What
In
do
the
you wanna do
tech world,
first?
they call it land and expand.
Writing the best
Land
song that
and
you have ever
expand.
written. I'm going to go with that.
Okay, cool. When you imagine success 3 years from now, you see yourself. I mean, they're all pretty cool. You know, right?
I guess I'll take one of these now. I mean, the third one is definitely keeps getting me pretty interested.
That says something.
Definitely so. I'd say having multiple major hit songs, sure. You collaborated on and earning mailbox money through sync placements and other royalty streams.
Who wants mailbox money?
I'll go with that. Okay. I think that's good.
All right.
Especially within 3 years.
Describe your current stage. Figuring out the path, building the foundations, actively creating and releasing work, doing music full time, and building your business.
Figuring out my path and building foundations.
It's just the basic way of splitting up the stage that you're in.
I would say actively creating and releasing work.
Cool. All right, last question. This is the hard one. I alluded to this one earlier.
You
If
had,
you had to choose one version of success, which would it be? You make a good living playing to large audiences, but you're not playing your original music.
No.
You have a large online audience, released a hit song, but you did not write it.
No.
You have a hit song that you wrote, but someone else recorded and released it.
Oh, sure, yeah. I like that.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure I know what yours is going to say.
And just to explain a little bit what's happening here, basically, based on your answers, all that answers and that information is being sent to the assistant that we trained with Logan's framework, and now we are generating a personalized path for you.
And of course, we got to get your data.
I appreciate
I'll
it.
put in my data just so you
Oh,
can
you're
see
saying
it.
for me to put this in right here?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine. I already have your data, actually. I'll put you on our mailing list. Yep, that's what we do. And then we're going to keep inviting you to free stuff until you're like, what's your paid stuff like? And then
Well,
we'll
and
talk
actually-
about that.
And actually, in here, we're also going to send you every 2 days the full
Oh, yeah,
roadmap.
that's true.
So
Yeah, we're going to start you in an email series. Yeah.
on an email sequence telling you giving you more context over the framework and how everything has been built.
Yep. So I wrote again, homie.news is where all this is kind of housed. So the AI is trained on this 9-part series that I wrote about the roadmap, just breaking down the thinking behind it. And then, Juan added some extra AI magic to it. So, yeah, check it out. Show your path. We want to know about your path.
What are you? Okay, show my path. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't be shy.
I like this. This is fascinating me, I must say.
All right. His path is writer-producer. All right. So the idea is that should be his core focus. Sometimes you might have a secondary focus, but in your case, you actually don't. And the idea is that the third thing is what we call noise for you, where it's like you really shouldn't spend much time focusing on that until you've really established yourself in this other business model, right? Land and expand. So we won't go through the whole thing because there's actually a ton of information that comes out of all this. And at the end, you can download a
PDF version.
a PDF. So I encourage you to go through this, but we'll go through a couple things really quickly.
Let's show the strategic roadmap that has the action items. And then we can stop there.
So the top 4 action items for him would be master the DAW and develop a signature production style, develop a diverse portfolio showcasing your range across genres, network with artists, labels, and music supervisors, learn the business side, publishing, sync, licensing, contracts, right? So that, again, gives him priority. And then it's going to talk about each one of those, why they matter, and give him a bunch of other sort of like minor action items as well, where, you know, like create a signature sound library of 50 plus original samples, study the arrangement structure of 10 chart-topping songs. So it's like I said, it's a lot here, so we won't go through every bit of it. But what we'll do is we'll go here towards the end. It also talks a little bit about different resources you can get through the home community. And then you can download it, right? And then this is the interesting part. Well, hopefully it's all been interesting. But we're doing a contest tonight. So if you make it to this last page, we want you to join the Music Tech Incubator Contest, okay? So we really are an incubator. So we want to know what you're working on. Do you have cool ideas? Even if it's not actually a thing yet, you just have a cool idea of how AI can empower music creators. We want to hear about it. We want to know about it. So please go through this, ideally before the end of the night, and give us your idea. We're going to pick somebody, maybe even more than one person, depending on what we find. But we're going to give away some time as a member in our co-working space, so you can come up and build with us. And if you've got something super cool, we might actually literally build it with you. And we're also giving away 2 tickets to a hackathon that's coming up. It's called Lightspeed. So really cool thing. It's a paid event. So if you're really actually in the tech field and you want to go hack out with people, then definitely sign up for the giveaway here, and let us know your background. And then the last blank here, or a button here, is to share your feedback. So if you have feedback on the roadmap, if you thought it was cool, tell us why. If you thought it wasn't cool, tell us why. If it sucked, if it froze up on you, tell us why. Or, well, I guess you won't know why, but we'll figure it out. So that's basically the overview of the Music Creator Roadmap AI tool. And thank you, Blake, for coming up and being our guinea pig on this.
I appreciate it.
Hopefully you'll go back through it on your own and actually spend some time with it and implement some of the action items that it has, because I think it'll help. So
Yeah, no doubt. I got something out of it, even as soon as you started talking about it.
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, that's what we got for home. And up next, we're going to invite Catrice, a.k.a. Ultraviolet, up on stage. Give us just a second to change over the presentation here. She's got some cool stuff to show y'all about visual arts using AI.
And one last thing before I go, you can do it as many times as you want. So if you want to experiment different answers, different results, you can go and do it as many times as you want.
And after she's done, we're gonna, like Joel said, we're gonna have an opportunity for anybody in the crowd, ask questions. If you have something you want to share, a cool AI thing that you've been doing, let's talk about it. Let's get some conversation going. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for coming tonight. I'm really excited. Hold on, let me untangle this. I'm really excited that Home is starting to offer programming in this area. Like he said, my name is Kat. I perform under Ultraviolet. But I've been in the tech space for a long time. I was working in neurotech before I started making music. And then I've been in the Web3 space for a few years now. I worked for a couple years at the world's first NFT gallery, and we did some really cool digital art events all over the world and some Web3 education programming in New York. So when Logan told me that we were going to start doing these meetups, I was really excited to get involved. I've been experimenting with AI for about 3 years now. I've sold some AI visuals on chain. Most notably, I sold one for $4,000 in South Korea, so that was pretty cool. And I've also just experimented with it a lot as an artist because there's so much out there, and we'll get into that a little bit. But today we're going to focus on generating cover art and doing it in a creative way through digital collage. So here's just a few different ideas about how you can use AI as a creative artist. And for some people, if you're a songwriter, you probably don't want to use AI to generate lyrics because that's what you love to do. But you can use AI to generate beat ideas, or vice versa. If you're a producer, you want to control the beat, but maybe you want to do some lyric ideas. I have cover art on there, branding, logos, photo and video content for social media, because that's the beast we all have to feed, and it takes a lot to keep up with the consistency that it requires. Special effects for music videos. You can automate posting, design websites. This is a fun app called Doji, and it's a styling app. So you upload a bunch of pictures of your face, and it generates you in different outfits. And then I used a different AI to turn it into a video. I used Kling for that. And then the metaverse and creating a digital twin and a digital avatar, that's like a huge thing for artists in the future, and I hope to share more about that down the road. I won't spend too long on this, but just kind of copying what was said in the first thing, a lot of negative response to when people are interacting with someone that uses AI is, well, what about the emissions? What about the water? And to me, this is a bigger issue that needs to be addressed with government and with corporations around the privatization of water sources, and also finding renewable sources of energy. So I just put this up here. Power data centers use around 2.5 to 3.7% of greenhouse gas emissions. But you know what else data centers are used for? Not just AI, for social media. So every image that gets posted, every tweet, every video, also video games. There's a lot of huge multiplayer online games that are using a lot of data. So just in the same way we don't shame people for driving cars, or we don't shame people for ordering on Amazon or buying fast fashion, I think we just need to change the focus to putting the responsibility on the government and corporations and not on the end users. So this amazing PDF I found online shows just a few of all the different tools and different ways you can use them. So we are going to put this on homeformusic.app, because actually the PDF is linked. So all of those little images, you can click the link and go experiment with that tool. And some of the tools that I'm using today to show you how to do cover art are not even on there, so I'll link those as well. So make sure you sign up at homeformusic.app. It's a really amazing online community, and we will share this resource for you on there. Another reason people are really against AI is because we have just been inundated with AI slop. Who's heard that term before? Yeah. So basically, AI slop is just low quality content. It doesn't really have a perspective. It doesn't really have substance. Sometimes I will say AI slop can be really funny. So if the humor is the value prop, like sometimes it can be really funny. But it's just a lot of people just putting their ideas and copy pasting what they're generating, and we're just getting inundated with this kind of content. So how do I put my own creative spin into my AI? Here's a few examples of a couple cover art and then just a fun digital collage that I did. This first one here was pretty low AI. I just used ChatGPT to generate the mouth, and then using Canva to put everything together. So I'm going to show you how I use Canva. And I really want to emphasize, like, I want to only share stuff that you can do for free, because I'm pretty sure we're all just tired of subscriptions and accounts and memberships. So a lot of AI tools, there is a free level that you can use. And so I really encourage people to learn a bunch of different tools so you can get as many free assets as possible that you can then put together. So that, like I said, I just generated the mouth. I brought the text in. I found some cool lasers, added effects. That was it. The second one, every single layer of that is AI generated except for the text. So the background, but in a different background, I really like this galaxy, so I brought that galaxy in. It would be really, really hard to get this exact image just prompting. It's going to give you all kinds of different stuff. So when you want to have a little more control over things, I really like collaging for this reason. And then this last crazy thing was just a digital collage I did called Beyond Google's Realm Lies the Profound. And I just was playing around with a bunch of different stuff, but that shows you like how much you can really bring in a bunch of different elements. So the first thing that you want to learn if you're going to start generating with AI is a prompt. Basically, the prompt is what you're putting into the system to tell it what to generate. The main elements that we have here is the subject, who, what, like what is the focus of the object that you're generating, the environment. So if you want to do something that has multiple layers in it, you can describe what the setting is, or you can just say black background. ChatGPT can do transparent backgrounds, which is really nice. You can specify the lighting, the colors. You can try to give it a mood or choose the style in which you want it to generate, the composition. So kind of just like taking a photo, all of these different elements that go into it, and any other details. And one thing, if you are really knowledgeable about cameras, you can even specify, I want it done in this camera lens, I want it done on this camera, using some of those techniques and bringing that language into your prompt as well. So this is a really fun idea that I encourage people to do if they don't even know where to start in terms of the language that you're using for your prompts. So this was a little experiment I did. I screenshot my artist Instagram and I uploaded it to ChatGPT, and this was my prompt. I'm working on creating a digital twin based on these screenshots. Please give me as many keywords and put it into these categories. So it generated a bunch of subjects I can try, descriptions, scenes, camera language, lighting, atmosphere. And so that is a good way to ensure what you're generating is aligned with what you already have. Or if you don't have a lot to work off of, you can choose an artist that you're inspired by or someone else that you are inspired by visually. And this is nice because you're not training on their data, but you are just pulling the language that the AI would use to create like images. So I'm going to speed run how to go from a standard Canva template to something more customized. This is for a song I'm working on with one of my friends, and I wanted to make something like really big and bright and Y2K kind of surrealist. But it doesn't always have to be in the style. Like I have this example. Here's some collages I did using photography. So just because I'm using really bright, crazy stuff, you can customize it to your style. So I have the blank one here. I'm going to just speed run as fast as I can, so I'm not taking too much time. But you see, I removed the background. I duplicated this a couple times and changed the color to kind of give it this weird effect. And then over here, I have a few different tools. So the main focus for this cover, I knew I wanted one of those retro color iMacs, and I wanted it to have a face. So this is Kling AI. This is a pretty cool tool because it has a lot of different things you can do in here. It's not just images. You can generate video. It has a lip syncing feature. I've experimented with a little bit. I haven't gotten it to work perfectly, so I'll keep working on that for you guys so I can do that in the future. But you can see these are the styles of the computers that it was giving me. This one, it could not figure out, like, I was asking for a black background, as you can see here. It wasn't doing it. So some tools are a little more intuitive than others. And this style I had chose was retro wave. So a lot of tools, you can choose what style you want it to generate in. But that had a lot of control over the output. However, I did end up really liking the face on this guy. So I downloaded it, cut the face out, and put it in. Let's see. Daisy is another tool similar to Kling that has video generation. You can do photo to video. You can do text to photo. You can do text to video. You can do video to video. So it doesn't always have to just be a technical. You'll usually have to prompt, like if you take a photo and you tell the AI, I want you to do this to the photo, and then it can make something out of that. I thought this was pretty interesting, so I downloaded it. One tool that I use a lot, if you want it, you have Photoshop for kind of free, is Pixlr. This is a great way to remove backgrounds, do cutouts. It has pretty much all the capabilities of Photoshop. So I think I have it in my downloads. Yep, here. That's not the one with the screen cut out, but it's fine, we move. What else do we have? One thing I definitely recommend is as you're generating and as you're experimenting, save as much as you can, because you never know when you will come back and use something that you've generated in a different project. For example, this hand was from an experiment I did with my friend a while back, and it was called a show of hands. So I have like a bunch of different hands. Let's see. Like we were just generating a bunch of hands to try to do this weird stop motion animation video. Where's the, okay. Okay. One cool thing that Apple rolled out is you can remove background directly from your Finder. I just discovered this pretty recently. Yes, so if you go to Quick Actions, you can just hit Remove Background. Isn't that sick? And then I'll just... Yeah, because that used to be one of the main things I would use Photoshop for, is just freaking removing backgrounds off of stuff. So I'm going to crop that in. Okay, we have our weird alien hand now. I did the same thing with some rando. I have like stuff saved all over the place. Yeah, so I had some weird planets. I think I did this one. So I did the same thing. Quick actions, remove background. And this one kind of messed it up because that bottom half of the planet was just black. But it worked because I just used it in the corner. So you can see how you can start to like just bring different elements in. Canva is really great, but it can be annoying because a lot of their coolest assets are under the paid version. And like I said, I'm tired of subscriptions. So it's nice because you can use the free elements, but then anything that you really want a little more customization over, you can generate yourself. I really like their tools. Like you can, do cool filters. And some of these apps are interesting. So like, let's pixelate this guy. Pixelify. To give it that like older quality, right? That's a great question. I don't know if Canva is training, because usually there's a pretty big uproar when someone rolls out terms and conditions and says that they're like maintaining some level of ownership over the assets you're generating. If you don't want to use Canva, I'll have to look into that. You could also use this pixlr.com for a similar thing, because this is like a free version of Photoshop. That's a reason a lot of people canceled their Adobe subscriptions, because it was going to start training everything on people's content that they were creating in there. One tool I wanted to show off, this is how I do pretty much all of my titles, because I hate all of Canva's like fonts and all of their title stuff. So this tool is called techstudio.com, and I really only use like half of the capabilities. So I have offline. You can change what kind of font, and it's generating live. You can change gradients if you want to like put a color in. That doesn't look great, but and then you can download it with a clear background. So that's how I do. From that other slide, all of my titles are done on here. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, okay, the last thing I wanted to show you from this, so a couple of these things are just from Canva, like these little stars. I just pulled like a notification thing and edited it. These discs were on Canva, and then I added the bad TV filter. But for this one, this was actually an AI-generated image that I used up in that corner. And I think that was on Kriya. So I was trying to generate like a chrome female robot, and these were my first rounds. It wasn't really doing what I wanted it to do. So for these, I found this picture. I don't know if it'll open. No. But it's actually a photo of someone laying on the ground with angel wings. I'm like, that's a really cool pose. So you can upload poses and use it as a reference point for the AI. And then you can also control how much you want it to resemble that original image. So you'll see these first ones. It pretty much copied the photo and then just added a few of the like chrome elements. And then I turned it down, and then we started getting the sky, and we started getting some black backgrounds. I turned it all the way down, and then it was back to giving me just some weird stuff here. So I ended up liking this one, pulled it in, and put it within a frame that was already in Canva. Yeah. Yeah, so that is pretty much the basics of digital collaging. Let me see if there's any other tools I wanted to show. So all of these are free. This is Deep AI. This is Daisy. They have like a limited amount of credits you can use. Same with Kriya. You see I've used 0% of my daily credits, so it'll show you once you've hit your limit. ChatGPT, it failed me. I was trying to do something before. I was trying to get another computer for us. ChatGPT has a daily limit, so you can do some stuff there. I like ChatGPT because it's a little more conversational with the prompting, and it can do transparent backgrounds. I was going to show you Midjourney. Midjourney is not free, But I thought this was a good example to show how, sorry, I had scrolled all the way up and then it scrolled me back down. But how you kind of go through the process of going back and forth. And if you get really into this, I think Midjourney is the best in terms of the styles that it has available. And I really like the workflow, but this was on a more expensive version that my friend was using where you get your own private Discord page. They have a new platform. I haven't tried it out yet. That's more like built like the other ones. But this was interesting because, okay, here we go. If you remember on this page, so for this one, you'll see like I was going back and forth a lot, trying to get the pose right, ascending through the air. It really struggles with mixed race people. I have a hard time generating stuff that looks like me. It's getting better, and apps like Doji help with that. And then, we change the language a little bit, and we get this. And I really like this one, so I upscaled this version. And it gave me that. And then you can make variations. So this is fun if you want to have a clear process. You can go in and choose, okay, I like this one. And some of the other apps have this. You find something you like, you make variations of it, you can upscale it. So this was the variations. You can upscale, you can change how much it's adjusting your new generations. This was like me doing the white light beam. I did it again, added concentrated. I think we did a couple more versions of that. So I really like Midjourney. If you're gonna go all in and you really want to go deep and have controls, I think they have the best styling. So I did want to show that, even though that's the only one that doesn't have any free level. This is free pick, and this is Kling. So I'll link all of these when we post the PDF that I showed you. Yeah. Oh, and then, ideas for future. Once you have an image, you can then go and animate it. So there's so much you can do as you continue to build and experiment with different tools. This was a generation one of my friends I did when we were messing around with Daisy. Yeah, so that's my presentation. Thank you, guys. I'd love to connect with all of you. Thank you.
Super cool stuff. Awesome. So that's what we have in terms of presentations. But again, we would love to hear from the audience. If anybody has any questions, comments,